The following podcast may contain spoilers, strong language, graphic violence, and nudity. Viewer discussion is advised. It's a long road. It's a long road. It's a long road. That song sucks.
Four guys and a movie. Four guys and a movie. Donnie, Brian, Rob, and Joe reviewing movies for the show. Four guys and a movie.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's 4 a.m. once again, and that means it's time for the 4 a.m. podcast, where me and my friends watch movies from our past and see how they hold up to our older, more cynical selves. I am your host, as always, Tony. Joining me today is...
Your worst nightmare 3 movies from now.
Look how the second I hit record, Brian goes immediately for the
Oh, he waits for it.
He wanted to make sure it got on
background
mic.
noise now.
Franklin Rappers is in full effect.
Brian.
Well, now that introductions are mostly out of the way, let's get to our special guest, Becca.
Hi.
Hi, Becca.
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Becca is part of the band that made our theme music.
Yay.
Except I'm not in that version.
You
word?
conducted us.
Are you lying to me, Joe? I thought the whole time that Becca was in that version.
Do you hear a piano in that song?
But I thought I heard like a xylophone. A harp or some shit. Oh no, I thought I heard Becca instrument.
Ooh.
There is another version that we didn't go with that has
Becca, can you do-
playing the piano.
Can you do an all piano version of the song
I will try.
that I can play over tender moments?
Yes, I will try.
Story
I will,
time with Rob.
I will work on this.
I haven't had one of those
Oh
in a
no!
long time.
You need to play the harp for Rob's stories.
I
Well, she
did.
did.
I
We
did.
do
There
have
is
the
a
audio
story
files for
time
it.
with Joe, a story time with Brian, there's
Wow.
story
Exist.
time
We
for,
just
for Rob
don't
and
use
for
them.
Tony. There is a story time for insert name here for each of you.
Well, we didn't get enough of a fan feedback for Storytime with Rob, so the segment was dropped.
Well, I have a knuckle sandwich.
Canceled forever.
For all of
Problem.
them.
We'll never get to talk again.
Tony could only hope.
We need 13 emails by the end of this episode, or I will die.
You are dead.
We would need
You better
13
start planning your
fans
funeral
first.
now.
We got 13 fans.
Well,
Fuck
we
you,
are good
Tony.
at dirges.
Well, yeah, all my hope is in you.
All right, so I think we talk about movies on this podcast, if I remember.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So speaking of today's movie, he never fought a battle he couldn't win. It's one war against one man. Or my favorite tagline, he just wanted something to eat.
Yeah, that's it.
That literally is.
That's the tagline for the podcast.
We did First Blood from 1982, rated R.
Or Rambo First Blood Part 1.
Rambo
Or-
First Blood Part 1, The Beginning, The Awakening.
Let's... Do we really want to get into this?
Yeah, so J.K. Rowling wrote the Rambo series and always intended for the first movie to be a series of six parts. Somebody...
He's not sure where he's
Somebody's
going.
rescue me. I don't have it.
Now you put that one out there. You deal with the consequences of it.
I'm just ensuring we don't get those 13
I just
emails.
wanted something to eat.
Yeah.
All right, so this was directed by Ted Kutchif, I think is how you say it.
Sounds like a noise you make when you sneeze.
It does. Who has made a bunch of movies that I'm guessing most of the people here have never seen, like Life at the Top, Wake and Fright, Fun with Dick and Jane, Too Many Chefs.
Wait, the remake of Fun with Dick and Jane?
No, the original.
Oh.
Or an older version at least. Not the Jim Carrey one. Switching Channels, but one we'll all recognize, Weekend at Bernie's.
Hashtag change the channel. Weekend at Bernie's. Wow.
Yes.
That's,
Clearly a cinematic master.
you can see the similarities in the two films.
Yeah, his movie career seems to drop off quite a bit after that one, so I think we know why.
He had his Mega Money Millions from Weekend at Bernie's. He didn't need to make any more films.
Made like 5 of those, didn't they?
No, I think just 2.
Like 2 in theaters and like remakes on.
They're remaking 2001: A Space Odyssey. What?
Really?
Why?
What are we even doing anymore?
I mean,
We don't
is
know.
it because
It's
it's after 2001?
Still, why?
It's still called 2001.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Anyway, so First Blood. What is your history with this movie, Brian?
I saw not this entire movie a lot as a kid. because it'd be on like TBS or like TNT, those stations. And I would never catch the beginning, and I would never catch the end. Like, something always happened, and I had to, like, go away before it ended. I finally did see the whole thing, like, when I was, like, a teenager or whatever, and I was like, oh, the end's way different than I thought it would. but
Sobbing
yeah.
uncontrollably.
But yeah, this one was my least favorite of them, because, like, well, I'll get into that later, but yeah, like, I saw it a lot.
All right. Rob.
I probably saw this when I was younger. Like, I don't really have any memories of it. I enjoyed the big wheel of the theme franchise of Rambo, but I don't remember this movie. I remember many of the sequels, but this movie I don't really remember. I remember watching it a couple of years ago on Netflix, and that was pretty much the first memory I have of watching it.
All right, Joe.
Same here. I was raised on a very healthy dose of Rambo 2 and 3 growing up. I saw those movies more times than I could count.
Right.
But this one I never caught for some reason. Like, they don't play it anywhere near as often. And I'm kind of sad about that.
It's just not stupid enough.
Yeah, I guess
Basically.
So I didn't really like the whole thing with the naming of this franchise always threw me off, where I assumed there was another Rambo movie, but I know where it fit into everything, and I just never came across it till probably like 2 or 3 years ago when I too saw it on Netflix.
That could also throw you off quite a bit when you're like, I've watched Rambo 2, I've watched Rambo 3, but I can't find Rambo 1.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exist, technically. Yeah, I know I've seen this maybe once or twice when I was younger, but don't remember it that terribly well until maybe my teens or so when I've seen it again at some point in there. But Becca.
My history with Rambo in general exists solely within the realm of UHF. That's it.
That's good. Good.
That's pretty much all you need, though.
Yeah, it sums up Rambo 2 and 3 perfectly.
Encapsulates the entire franchise.
So I saw this movie for the first time last night.
Okay.
Yeah, I might have also seen UHF before I saw any of the Rambo movies.
I'm pretty sure I did. Like,
Yeah.
I was 2 years old in '82, so
Yeah.
I didn't see this until like years later.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same here.
I know I saw 2 before UHF.
Okay.
I think I saw 2 before I saw this one.
Because I remember getting a big kick at UHF when he was parodying that.
All right, so a brief history on this movie itself. Al Pacino was considered for the lead role, but he wanted Rambo to be more of a madman, so they were like, nope, we're not doing that.
Wait, what? Did they not see Dog Day Afternoon?
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could see with that is that, like, maybe Al Pacino isn't as, like, believable as, like, top physical shape, like Army Guerrilla.
No. Al Pacino wanted Rambo to be crazier,
Yeah.
and they didn't.
Oh.
They wanted him to be more human.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That makes a little more
They
sense.
wanted you to like him when the movie ended.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other possible casting was going to be at one point they had Chris Christopherson as Rambo, Gene Hackman as the sheriff, and Lee Marvin as the colonel. That would have been a totally different take on all of that,
At
I
any
think.
point, does Rambo throw anybody a pair of sunglasses really shittily?
He would have had to.
They didn't have CGI back then, so I don't know how that was going to work.
Just a string.
Yes. Just on a little zip line.
Yeah. Other possibilities for Rambo were Jeff Bridges, Robert De Niro, Michael Douglas, Paul Newman, Nick Nolte, and John Travolta.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They were just shotgun fire on that one.
Did you ever see any of the pictures of Travolta when he was jacked?
Yeah.
Was there a time when he
Yeah,
was
well, he was like bodybuilder. Like, it looks like you just cut his head out with Photoshop and put it on Stallone's body.
Really?
Like, it does. Yeah, it looks so weird. But he was only jacked for a very short time.
What was Staying Alive, I think?
I don't know. I'm
Was
not
the
sure.
era?
Yeah, why he got that muscular. But in an interview, he was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, that's way too much work. I couldn't keep my body like that."
All
I
right.
just wanted to go to the gym,
Yeah.
to meet people.
Also, the piece of rotten canvas that Rambo finds and wears throughout most of this movie was actually just rotten canvas they found in the woods. So they only had the one piece. So they had to make it work for as long as humanly possible.
So
And Stallone got so attached that he kept it and may still have it to this day.
I love it. It's covered with the seed of many bums.
Wow.
I love all the memories I made from this and the lice. Also, during the jailbreak scene, one of the actors, the one named Alf, by the way, that was wearing the cowboy hat, when he elbows him in the face.
Yeah, he straight up hit him in the nose.
Yeah,
right?
he actually broke his nose.
Yeah.
That's why the rest of the movie he's got that bandage over his nose. That wasn't a prop. He just actually broke his nose.
Yeah, when that happens, I was like, oh, like that was so brutal.
And I wondered, like, they took that extra minute to have him like squealing on the ground.
Yeah.
It's like because that was probably just happening, and they were like, "Keep rolling, just keep rolling."
He's really selling this.
Also, the first cut of this movie was apparently 3 hours or so long.
Well, boring as fuck.
Wow.
And Stallone absolutely hated it to the point where he wanted to buy all the copies and like destroy it. But he was talked down from that and instead said, how about instead you cut me out of most of this and let other people tell the story? Which not only worked well for this movie, but brought this movie down to like half its time for like 90 minutes, which set a precedence for future action movies being much shorter and quicker
Until
and to
today.
the point. Well, yeah, till
So
modern day.
They even cut out the part where Itchy gets that sex machine.
Yeah, and somebody pours a drink in Stallone's head.
And then that weird Boba Fett cartoon for no reason.
Well, this is a weird ass tangent. And finally,
I don't get those references.
You will.
Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh, okay. I literally have blocked that movie out of my
That's
head.
Well,
I
you
fell
should.
asleep for
Smart
most
move.
of it.
Hey guys, $20. We'll get
Oh,
you a
God.
sponsored
stop,
episode.
stop. Nope, don't do it.
It could, but it should.
And finally, a truck storing 50 some odd firearms was stolen from the set.
Yay.
So that's a legacy they got to live with. Does anyone want to guess at how much money this movie cost to make?
15 million.
82, 20 million.
10.
13 and a half.
Say Rob hit it right on the head with 15.
Yay.
All
Want to guess how much it made?
I don't remember.
45.
This one was a huge hit.
27.
40.
46 million.
125.
Whoa.
Grab
Okay.
baskets. Yeah, that is a huge return.
Great.
That sure is. All right. And where'd that money go, Joe? Who's in this thing?
Oh. Most of it went to just blowing up a gas station.
Yeah.
But you got this guy, Sylvester Stallone. Welcome back to the podcast.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Stallone voice.
Then you,
Wait till we do Demolition Man.
you forget about Stallone voice. Turn the
Well,
hat
it's
backwards,
over.
I become a machine.
Bring me something to drink.
Or Just Dread.
Yeah. Then we got Richard Crenna also returning to the podcast as Colonel Troutman, and Brian Dennehy as Sheriff Teasel. And
He's not been on yet, has he?
Sheriff.
I don't think
Jimmy
Brian.
the Weasel Teasel.
And then also returning to the podcast, David Caruso as Mitch.
What else was he in that we did?
Hudson Hawk.
Oh, yeah, that's
He
right.
played Kit Kat.
Yeah, he was
I love that
the
movie.
silent one.
That's right.
Wow.
See, it's a fun movie, Becca,
Oh, it's
isn't it?
so good.
It's a fun movie.
Not
We should
enough
have had you
singing,
on that
though.
episode. You
I went
shown
into
up.
it expecting a lot more singing, but anyway,
Yeah.
we're not here for them.
Yeah.
For Rambo.
I caught that dig. She'll never hear it, but I caught that dig.
Oh, she'll hear it. I'm still salty about that.
Long story, Becca. Long story.
Okay.
So anyway, let's get into this movie, shall we?
Do you want to watch Sylvester Stallone walking?
I'll go get a drink.
I sure do, Joe.
You ever wanted to know what The Hobbit would be like if it starred just me? Okay.
At what point do I turn into the Hulk?
So we see a very young Sylvester Stallone. I was like, wow, this is a fresh-faced Sly Stallone. Because he always kind of looked like sort of Ric Flair old. You know how Ric Flair... Ric Flair looked old even when he was young.
Yeah.
Like, his skin was always just kind of leather. And Stallone's kind of like that to me, too. Like, I'm like, this guy, even when he was like 20, he looked like late 30s-ish.
Sly, why the long face?
Yeah, I think something about that many muscles makes you look a little older, maybe.
Yeah.
And then I killed him.
I mean, this was before he got like super roided out, but still, like, yeah. Anyway,
So, yeah, he goes to some sweet-ass lake house to find his buddy Delmar. That doesn't go so well.
Nope.
harasses some woman for a while till she tells him he's dead.
It is not her. I mean,
He was nice.
he's
Wow.
looking
He was
for
super
his
nice.
man,
Yeah,
man.
he was.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm just like, am I not going to be able to make fun of this movie? This is going to be like a...
Yeah. I almost stopped it, like right around this point to just be like, "Oh, this is going to be a heavy one, isn't it?" And it gets there, but
Yeah, it's like here's some drama for you.
Sylvester Stallone, Brian Dennehy, and introducing post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah,
So basically, he was in Vietnam, and he's been trying to find all his buddies from who's left his
the
buddies
two
from
that
there.
survived. Yeah.
And come to find out one of them was just dead already. Like, so
And spoiler alert: he does not like SpaghettiOs.
And the podcast has ground to a halt.
The point is, he is the last one.
Yeah. Also, he walked like forever. He walked like a Lord of the Rings distance to get here, and then it's like, oh, that sucks. I guess I gotta go home. But his stomach's getting a little rumbly, so he needs to find some food.
So
And that's where it all goes wrong.
like as per
So
usual,
he finds Rabbit's honey tree.
this
Yeah.
entire movie wouldn't have happened if like there were cell phones involved,
Yeah.
or like the internet. Could have been like, oh, he died. Oh,
Or
Yeah.
human or human decency.
Human decency, yeah.
yeah.
So you see the sheriff, Sheriff Teasel comes out, and you're like, for a second, you're like, this guy looks cool. He's nice. He's the sheriff. And then some guy's like, hey, sheriff. And he's like, hey, did you take a bath this week? Like, all right, I don't like this dude now.
Whoa. Let's also not forget, we start this movie off with a nice belch. He just comes out of the office and just like, "Brr," all right?
Yeah, but
Let's tuck that in.
It's good because after like the
That's how
whole
I start my days,
PTSD
too.
thing, you're like, oh, okay. Let me write some notes.
Yeah. That's fair.
Sheriff's like, I haven't been an asshole yet today. That much.
Yeah, let's get this ball
I
rolling.
haven't hit my quota yet,
Yeah.
so let me.
I've only mildly offended some people that I know personally, so
Yeah.
let's pick on a stranger.
Yeah, so there's a guy. He's walking. That's it.
He was on the wrong side of the road.
He
Yeah.
was on the wrong side of the road.
Suppose so.
They were trying to say that he looked like a
A vagrant.
vagrant, but he didn't look that dirty.
But he had a flag on his jacket.
He did.
I
He
don't
did.
like
That'll
the
get you in
flag
trouble.
on all the cops' jackets.
Why
That,
would
Yeah.
that get
that's
you?
a different thing
I don't-
altogether.
I don't understand that. So,
Well-
were they implying that because people would identify him as a Vietnam vet?
I
and
believe
then
so.
therefore-
That's, I'm guessing, what we're
I believe
talking
so.
about.
But just
Honestly,
a lot of things
though-
to pick out. Like,
Yeah.
it was the flag. Like,
Right,
you
it's
have
like-
one on your jacket.
Even like back in
Especially since it says U.S. Army on the other side.
even
But-
back in '82, we're 7 years removed from the Vietnam War at least.
Yeah.
And like someone would pick him up and be like, "Hey, it's a veteran. Let me help this dude.
Right.
maybe, maybe not.
The cop's
I don't
like,
know, but-
I'll help this dude. I'll take him all the way through the town." And he's like, "Yeah, I just need something to eat."
Yeah.
Sheriff's like, "Yeah, there's something to eat 30 miles up the road."
Yo, I'm like the asshole. Like,
That's-
the minute he said that, I'm like, you're a dick.
That is a day's march right there.
It's like, could I just have at least some of your Fritos you got here?
What about that place? What about that place we just passed?
You got-
Or that one?
You got two separate things of fries, and they're both large. You're just sitting here in front of me. Can I just have a fry?
Yeah.
We just passed like 5 Waffle Houses. Can't we stop at one of them?
Well, let's stop for donuts. I'll buy.
Yeah.
I found a Whopper between your seat cushions. It was still wrapped. Can I just have that?
There's some fries under the seat. Can I have the stray fries? They're a little dusty, but I'll just clean that off. No.
I was trained to eat things that you would
They're making goat puke.
make a
with-
goat puke. Yeah.
But yeah,
Which, in fairness, is like a Burger King Whopper.
yeah, especially a cold one. But we also, the sheriff makes the mistake a lot of people do, which, not to say this is what you should do, but like, if you're trying to ditch a dog, you need to go further than like just down the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just go a county over.
Why are you ditching dogs?
I'm not.
Tony?
I'm not. I'm
You're a
not.
monster.
I'm not ditching
No,
dogs.
he's not trying to justify it. He's
Shelters.
just saying if you're going to do
Here's
it.
what I learned.
Do it
If
right.
you want to kick a dog, you got to make sure nobody's looking. And you just kick the
Let's
shit
not
out
go
of it.
into that. But I mean, I've recently actually I've had the situation where someone was trying to get rid themselves of a mouse, and they wanted to just drive it down the street and let it go. And I was like, no, you gotta go further than that because they'll track it back. They're smart. They'll find a
So
way.
They said okay and just flush it down the toilet.
No, well, I hope not. But the point is, you can't just go over a bridge and be like, "There's Stallone. Go check on the tire," and then just hit the
Be
gas.
free. We don't want you here.
No,
No
you
one
know what
loves
you do? You take them to your weird
whatever the hell it was. I wrote down a note. I can't, like, family restaurant Hooters Carnival that they were eating at. You take them there, you get them a meal, and you drive them to the next town over and say, all right, have a good one.
Get them a meal, you can buy them a drink and a lap dance, and then just make them turn around 5 times and kick them out the car.
Like, just take them to, like, there's a store 2-4 over here. You can get some stuff, and then I'm driving you out of here.
No, we'll grab that reference, because that's a New England thing only, right?
Oh, I don't know. There's a
store 2-4.
There's a quick stop. There's a whatever.
Wawa.
A Wawa.
What Store 24 is.
Wow.
We have listeners from across the country, Rob.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're national listeners.
All right. Hey, take them to Carl's Jr.
There you go.
Or Wegmans.
I mean,
Wetzel's.
yeah.
Get them a Punisher t-shirt.
Any of the 5 Waffle Houses we just drove past. Because honestly, like John Rambo's the kind of person I want to go to Waffle House with. He's got your back.
We saw that Dairy Queen, all right?
Yeah.
You might survive your trip to the
Take
Waffle
them
House
to
if
the
you have him with you.
Whole Foods Fresh Market, or if you're on a budget, a Trader Joe's.
Okay, the sheriff drove the entire Whole Foods staff out of the town.
He left them right at the They were unwanted.
We don't have that.
None of you will cut your hair. Get out.
2 earrings in the same ear? I don't think
That's
so.
asking for trouble.
And on a ban? Oh, hell no.
And then the other guy, Galt, just like flew by in the helicopter firing a rifle. He didn't even wait.
Yeah, so the sheriff is even the worst one.
No.
was the worst kind of sheriff.
We haven't even got a one-eyed Willie yet.
All right, and this sounds trivial as hell because it is trivial as hell, but this is literally what a whole war starts over.
Yep.
Yeah, because he crossed back over this bridge. He's now being arrested for vagrancy, and then resisting arrest and concealed weapon.
And resisting arrest was like the dude grabbed his wrist and Rambo moved.
Yeah.
That's resisting arrest.
Yeah.
And carrying a concealed weapon.
Yes.
Because even, this early on in the franchise, he still has the badass knife.
Oh, you got it.
You know what's crazy?
What's that?
So I've been like looking up knife laws and stuff like that. Like you can't have a concealed knife, right? But if you had it open, like just on you open, totally fine. A sword, totally fine in most states.
A katana?
Yeah. In most states, totally fine as long as it's not being concealed or not in a staff, like a cane. Totally legal, totally fine.
Katana on a subway?
Yeah, literally.
With a completely fake ass made up name that you gave yourself? Totally fine.
As long as it's not quote unquote concealed, it is not illegal.
So it's totally fine. I'm like, whoa, holy shit.
So he should have taken a page out of Crocodile Dundee's handbook and just wore it on his hip.
Yeah, it's head out in the open. It would have been fine.
You gave the sheriff the little shaka bra hand.
Just wear it.
He just does that. The sheriff falls asleep in the middle of the road. And he keeps walking.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Dennehy's about the size of that buffalo.
Pretty much, yeah.
So he gets arrested. And it's like, he's still like, the sheriff's an asshole, but like, he hasn't like assaulted him yet.
Yeah.
That stuff. He's just like, come to the station with me. You're under arrest. We'll see you, put you in front of the judge on Tuesday and shit like that.
Yeah, he just basically is one of those sheriffs that like to swing his dick around.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, the sheriff is very, very protective of his community, and he sees this guy as like the first step to like a wave of hippies in his community that he does not want. That does not justify his actions in any way.
You let one in, they start breeding. Before you know it, they're everywhere.
Oh no, there's like 50 Sylvester Stallones in my town.
That would be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know.
What state is this again?
I believe it's supposed to be Hope, Washington.
Washington? Okay.
Which Hope, Washington is not a real place, but Washington is.
How close is that to Forks?
Yeah. Oh my God. When they went running to the woods, they ran into Rambo and he just stabbed him.
Killed a bunch of sparkly kids.
I want to see a remake of this scene where it's in Oregon and like the sheriff's on like a unicycle.
It's like, oh, you're hungry, bro? Come on, I'll make you a sandwich. You like kale?
And Rambo goes on a rampage because he can't find meat.
Just him beating up hippies for an hour and a half.
Yeah, instead of being mad because he didn't get dinner, he got mad because he didn't get the dinner he wanted.
Yeah.
Finally a burger. What? Soy!
It's just like a Ron Swanson style freak out.
There's a movie for you.
Yeah. Anyways.
So instead of like, he's still making those spikes, but he's lathing them.
Yeah. So, what are we even doing? Okay, so now the sheriff takes him back to the police station.
Yeah, and they try and put him through processing, but he basically, like, he does that thing, like, I'm going to go limp. Like, you just got to drag me through the process.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever. And he starts getting some flashbacks.
Yeah, when he sees the
That's-
bars, suddenly he's remembering
Hey.
that time the Vietnamese dumped poop on him.
Yeah. It's like, oh, there's a deeper movie here. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
I just go back and start crossing out all the jokes I wrote before. Like, oh man.
And David Caruso, he's like, hey guys, you ever think, we should try this human decency thing?
Yeah.
Oh, and when David Caruso is the voice of reason,
Yeah.
This is not going to end well.
Guys, the
No.
ginger is trying to take a stand here. Figure it out.
He's got more of a soul. Come on.
Yeah. Now this guy Galt is a
These
motherfucker. Galt's just like, you're filth. I have a deep voice and I'm gonna smash your face in.
What's amazing how, like, quickly he goes from, like, a human to just, like, gross monster. 'Cause
Yeah.
he starts out, he's just like, what's your name? Hey, what's your name? Like, oh, you want to tell me your name? Maybe I'll hit you with a stick.
Yeah.
I'm going to just start hitting you with a stick. Maybe I'll just shoot you in the face. Like, whoa, slow down, buddy. What happened here? But yeah, they're trying to figure out who he is. He won't give him any info.
He
They
sees dog tags.
Yeah.
they spray him down to clean him up.
Well, yeah, they won't. The sheriff basically comes back and he's like, "Look, you're going to before the judge tomorrow. We have to clean you up beforehand for no reason, just because we want to spray you with a hose."
Right.
And like when I saw how cut he was after he took his shirt off, I'd be like, you know what? Don't want to be here anymore. I think I'm going to go on a 15-minute break now.
Now, do you mean cut ripped, or are you referring to all the scars?
Both.
Both. Yeah. So like David Caruso smartly was just like, you know what? Not going to be here anymore. You have fun hosing them yourself.
And I know
I'll be somewhere else.
this was probably before the time, so that's their excuse. But like, yeah, once you start seeing that, it's like, oh, maybe he's not talking because he needs some help. Let's bring in a specialist. This is going to be a problem.
Not that they were still saying man up back then.
Well,
Yeah.
yes. Well, like I said, it's before the time,
Yeah.
but it's like,
Yeah.
obviously this guy's not well. But yeah, they try and give him a quick little shave to look all nice and fresh for the judge, and that's it.
So like, it's not like a quick shave. You gotta explain it better. Like, so he didn't want to get a shave. So the Galt was it?
Oh, also, I should point out before this, Galt just beat the fuck out of him in his cell.
Oh yeah.
For no reason.
Just for no reason, yeah. Just because he didn't want to cooperate.
I think he was just like, you have more scars on the front than on the back. Let's fix that.
Yeah.
So to shave this guy, Galt goes behind him with a club, puts a club around his throat and pulls him back. Right. So now he's squirming. They're pulling a old school straight razor
Yeah.
in front of his face, and Galt goes, "No soap, do it dry."
Yeah.
Like,
And he wasn't
At this
talking
point,
about the shave.
Rambo, yeah. And Rambo is clearly not here. Like, he's got the full 1,000-yard stare. He's somewhere else.
He's getting some kind of flashback from being crucified or something. I'm not even sure
When they
what
cut
was
off his
happening.
porn stash.
Yeah.
he's seeing himself being cut in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Well, being tortured and cut up, and like he snaps. It's a wrap now.
And this is friggin' brutal. Like,
But he does not kill any of them.
Nope.
He beats the living shit out of them.
A
But he
few of
doesn't
them aren't
kill
having
anything.
children ever again, probably. But
That's probably for the best.
yeah, that's true.
I mean, this is a beating that, like, Daredevil would be proud of. Like, he kicks the shit out of these guys. And he's very fond of the wait for you to open a door and then just explode on you.
It's amazing how often that works too.
Mhm.
Like there's that one door that like has to be like a code or some kind
Yeah.
of button to release it, and the guy's just like, "Oh, what's this noise down here?" Like if you didn't open that door, this movie would be over.
Mhm.
But
A few guys go through windows.
Yeah.
And that last guy's just like, hey, I got some donuts.
hey, I'm gonna break your nose. Pow!
He's basically just like, who's this guy? And he's just taken down, elbowed right in the schnoz.
You don't have to run. I got enough donuts for everybody. Oh God!
And it is brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, and this scene feels like it goes on for a long time, but maybe in like about a minute, he's destroyed the entire police department.
Yeah.
Well, it is just in like a big trailer home, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he breaks his way out, goes into the street, and just punches some poor kid in
Grand
the face.
Theft Auto.
Yeah.
Before Grand Theft Auto was a thing.
Yeah, grabs his dirt bike, and he's off.
Now, this chase that ensues, I was saying to Eric and Becca while we were watching it, I'm like, this is a very fundamentally simple chase. There's not a lot to it, but it's a really nice chase. Like, why do we have to fuck these up today? Like, this is just, it's two guys driving. Occasionally you see their faces, do a few very simple stunts. Everything looks like Stallone did it on a bike, even if that was a stunt double.
I actually have that in my notes as well. Like a car chase where like it's literally just one vehicle chasing another, little swerves and some nice moves, but like nothing's flipping, nothing's exploding, at least not yet. Yeah, it's very simple, very realistic.
I mean, Joe, this franchise fucks this up two movies later. And then with Stallone on the horse.
Oh, yeah, I'm not talking later on. Shit goes south.
And then he had to make sure that you knew it was actually him on the horse.
Yeah. But like this chase right here, I was like, this is just what we need to do. I can watch this all day.
We both require the same tranquilizers to go to sleep.
Oh my goodness.
We both get the same hormones to wake up in the morning.
And the sheriff, whose car is just being shaken apart as he's taking it more and more where it's not meant to go. It's like, your car is not a dirt bike. It cannot go through these areas.
It's not going to stop me. I got to get this vagrant.
Yeah, and he's jiggling like Chris Farley inside this thing. Like, he's just shaking about. Like, he's obviously discombobulated. And like an asshole, he just slides off the side of the road in a very sad but satisfying.
It's like, are you gonna tip over? Oh, is it gonna do it? Is it gonna tip? Is it gonna tip over?
It's like that one in life where you keep thinking you're like, oh, damn it. Okay, well, it's over. No, well, it's not over. Oh, we're still going. Oh. And then the horn's going when he flips. And it really looked like they were like, all right, we're just going to push this off the side of the road. And whatever happens, happens.
Probably is what he said.
When that car started rolling over the side of the hill, I was laughing so hard. I instantly was pushed right out of Rambo and into that video of that little bulldog that would run up the hill and roll down on purpose. It's just like, let's just go completely sidewise to some physical comedy for no apparent reason.
That bulldog is the animal version of Brian Denny.
Wow.
I had some,
Tell me I'm wrong.
some issues with my pen at this point. So, like, I don't see how Rambo fell off his bike. Like, I didn't see what happened there. But he's off his bike. And then, like, right then he makes like he's going to chase Rambo up a rocky slope. I'm like, you know you're not going to run after this
Joe, I'd rather let 1,000 criminals get away than chase them.
Yes. Chief Wiggum style. Hold on, I think I forget my permit in my glove compartment.
So yeah, he's taking off into the woods now. Yeah, I don't quite remember how we get over to this point, but somehow like the rest of the team shows up with dogs.
Well, because he stops for a little while because he has to let the adrenaline wear off, and you know, like he has that weird like kind of cry, kind of angry thing he does, and then he's like, I need to make myself a sick poncho.
I gotta make a poncho out of a homo sex sheet. Like what? Not,
A homo sex
hobo. Wow.
Oh,
I would like to
The views of the
apologize.
pain, Margaret and Robert.
I would like to apologize.
Now,
No,
in fairness,
hobo.
we do not know the sexual orientation.
Yeah,
of
I
those
don't know.
hobos.
I don't know that. It's hobos, is what I meant to say.
Also,
Wowzers.
this audio slip up brought to you by not having Doritos. So Doritos, if you'd like to sponsor us, we could really use a
Ladies
bag.
and gentlemen of the listening public, I would like to officially announce my resignation from the Warrior Podcast and apologize to anyone that I offended.
Next week,
I'm sorry you felt that way.
Next week there will not be an
There he
episode.
is. There he is.
Hashtag change the channel.
Say change the channel.
Well, I was going to say next week there isn't going to be an episode as we all attend sensitivity training because of Rob.
I was going to say that's why we're testing Becca out as Rob's replacement.
Can you edit?
Listen,
I get it.
my best friend is a homosexual poncho, so
Put the shovel away, Rob. You can't get much deeper now.
I'm telling Matt.
That's gonna be so pissed.
Where's this poncho?
Wait,
Yeah.
because Rob has another best friend,
yeah.
or because Matt's been outed as a homosexual poncho?
No, he's been off making babies. Listen, he hasn't been around. I found someone new.
Rob's been lonely. He ran crying through the woods
To the god.
yeah, and just found a piece of canvas.
Yeah, found the first.
I verified that it was indeed homosexual. I carved a poncho out of it. By that I mean I cut a hole for my head to go through.
And a piece of twine. There's a piece of twine involved.
There's another hole into it, but let's not go there.
Yeah, there's another hole too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Let's
it's
not
okay.
kid ourselves.
It's okay. There's a hole in the sheet.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I'm upset and hurt that none of you noticed and said anything about it.
Well, you haven't introduced us to him yet.
I've been wearing it the whole time.
Rob, I try not to look at you whenever possible. Also, you really should plug the hole up when we come over.
Hey, Joe. Why don't you plug the hole?
No.
Oh, man.
So,
I would like to announce my resignation from the 4am podcast.
thank you. We hope you enjoyed the 4am podcast. We will not be returning ever again. Oh, God. All right.
So
It's just going to be Tony and Brian arguing the rest of the time. It's on
Pretty
you.
much.
So, I mean, I know time is supposed to have elapsed, but the sheriff might as well have just thrown a capsule on the ground and all of his, like, lackeys and a guy with Doberman pinchers emerge from the smoke, because, like, they're just right here.
Also, like, he's not, like, a police officer of any form. He's just, like, the local crazy man who has dogs. Which is, like, I guess, just... You know, Crazy Joe, the dog owner, lives in the neighborhood.
You need dogs that'll kill a guy? I got dogs that'll kill a guy.
Now, that guy's been living for this moment, though.
Yes.
Oh,
he sure
he's
has.
like, oh, my time has come. Because he's pretty old, and he's out running all these cops. He's like, come on, let's get this dude.
Mo, Larry, and Curly were raised for this and this alone.
Those were the dogs' names, weren't they?
Probably. So they go off into the woods after him. They chase him to this big cliff.
Like, I'm getting a friggin' asthma attack just thinking about running up this hill.
Yeah, fuck all that.
Yeah. I'd be like, you know what? I'll go back to police station. We can spray me with those again. That's fine. Whatever.
But there was... Wait, didn't the, like, brief montage of him setting up his camp happen before this, or no?
No.
No, this
this
is
is
shortly after. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, first we see this cliff, which, yeah, like, it starts panning down, and about halfway I was just like, oh no. It kept going.
Well, that is how Washington is, though.
Oh, yeah. I just, like, damn.
You're just walking along, and all of a sudden, it's like, there's no earth anymore.
But it was literally like, my mindset was just like, oh, it's a cliff, and he's going to have to jump to the water. Like, oh, no, that's too far.
That's basically just a
Oh, we're
portal
still
down there.
going.
Yeah.
Oh, we're still going. Oh, that's instant death.
And so he starts climbing down.
Yeah.
This is when freaking, what's this guy's name? Crazy Galt over here shows up on the helicopter.
Yeah, at this point, I believe he's like, one eye's messed up because he got elbowed in the face a few too many times or whatever.
Well, because Rambo, when he was distributing beatings, he kept going back to Galt, and he'd be like, I'm going to beat him for a little while, then beat up the guy trying to help him, then go back to beat up Galt, and then...
Well, because he knew Galt was the worst.
Yeah, Galt was the worst.
Yeah. And speaking of being the worst, he's just like, all right, it's murder time.
Yep.
Well, like the sheriff's like, look, don't kill him. We need him alive. Don't kill him. Galt's like, fuck you. I do what I want. It's my sniper rifle. I do what the fuck I want.
He hurt my eye. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot this
I
guy.
didn't hear exactly what he said, but basically the helicopter pilot's like, look, dude, this is dangerous as hell. And he's like, I will kill you.
Yeah,
It's like crazy
I swear to
updrafts or
God,
something.
I'm
in
gonna
that.
Well,
kill you.
no, yeah, he says like, oh, that, you know, the guy's hanging onto the edge of the cliff or whatever. Like, there's nowhere he can go. You don't have to keep doing this. And he says, if you don't hold this still so I can shoot him, I swear to God, I will kill you.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck you, dude.
I tell you what, how about we land?
Well, I believe at this point, the three of us that watched it together were just like, well, I'm just going to tip this helicopter a little bit and see you go falling out because whatever.
You'd be like, hey, Chief, you wearing your seatbelt? No? All right.
Yeah. Dangerous conditions.
So this pilot's freaking out, rightly so, because he's in this super dangerous position for a helicopter to be in.
Yeah.
And, Rambo, he's hanging the cliff, and Eric actually made a very
cliffhanger.
Yeah, he made that joke.
Oh.
But he didn't know he made it.
Yeah, by Eric's standards, I was like, that's pretty clever, because that is a movie, and he's like, oh, I didn't know. And I was like, yeah, of course you did.
What the what?
I don't know. He by accident he pulls one off.
Yeah, because didn't he go, you said, that's quite a cliff. And then Brick says, hanger.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
And they're like, hey, good call. That's another Stallone movie. He's like, for real?
We had daylight in here too.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
So now I was gonna complain about like Stallone should have died in this jump, but like this thing was brutal as hell.
Yeah, it was.
Like,
yeah, at least they didn't pussyfoot it too much.
Yeah.
Because he realized he's about to get shot, so he's got nothing to do but jump.
Looks like I'm
Well,
going.
see, like, I thought it was going to go differently because this tree keeps staring at the tree the whole time.
Yeah.
So I thought he was climbing down far enough where he can jump to the tree and then climb down the tree. I don't think he was just going to throw his whole body at the tree and just like figure, it's soft enough. Like,
Ran out of options.
I mean, who knows? That might have been the original plan. He just had to jump to it a little faster than he intended.
I think that was the idea, but yeah, it was just like, the time's out. What am I going to do?
Oh, that's right. I'm not a squirrel. Oh.
See, because today there'll be a fucking cart full of hay down there, and he'd just swan dive into it and be fine.
Yup.
Well, I expected him again to hit the river and just be okay, which still not how that would work, but how it works in movies constantly.
4 inches of water over the rock.
Well, that's the other thing. But no, he hits every branch on the way down and just fucks himself up.
Galt's like, you know what? Still gotta kill this dude.
Yeah. And yeah, I think Brian mentioned that Galt had a really good shot, but apparently Stallone does too, and just chucks a rock at this helicopter, and it's enough to send him off, and this dude comes tumbling out.
The helicopter pilot's like, fuck this.
Yeah, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
This dude's throwing rocks. I didn't sign up for rock throwing.
Yeah.
And hard enough to break the windshield too. Like,
Oh, yeah, well,
screw this. But Galt comes flying out, falls to his comical death.
No puppets. I was a little disappointed.
What?
No puppets falling.
you want to see something
This is a dummy.
hit the ground.
I think that was an actual guy.
That's not the same though. Rob needs a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was an actual stuntman just falling into a
I suppose it
thing.
could be.
Either way, like,
I wanted to see some arms flop.
I think this is supposed to be more tragic, but you're just like, good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
Yes, they
to bad
deserve to
rubbish.
die, and I hope to burn in hell.
Now I have a gun.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
And a jacket.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stallone takes a moment to just suck his soul out before he dies, I guess.
No more gay ponchos for me.
No, he's still.
He's keeping that
I'm gonna keep
poncho.
it. but, like,
Yeah.
I'm not getting rid of
I'm a little warmer now.
I'm not getting rid of my homosexual poncho.
I'm getting a warm place for me and my gay poncho to stay.
I'm just thinking of friggin' just Eric Estrada. Just
Why?
Punch.
Oh.
just Stallone and him.
You know what?
Like he's hanging off Stallone's back.
just getting married in Vegas.
Draw that. Please draw that. Please draw that.
No,
Also,
maybe don't.
if Eric Estrada voiced the poncho, I'm down for that.
And
I'm the homo poncho. I don't know what he sounds like.
now, back in the day, Rambo, before he leveled up and just had the power to burn gunpowder through a tunnel in his own flesh and be perfectly fine afterwards, he had to actually stitch his flesh closed, which he just does in full graphic detail. We get to watch that.
This is also, I think, well before the fifth one where he just uses his laser eyes to weld it shut. I'm assuming that's how it goes. I don't
Or
remember.
Rambo X when he was in space. They cloned him in the future.
With the nanites.
Yeah, with nanites.
just him and the leprechaun and Jason up there.
Actually, I would like to see that.
Yeah. I'm intrigued. You got
What
my
else
money.
is going to
All right.
space? I think the Fast
Critters?
and Furious. Are doing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's
and
the next
Critters and Sharknado. Let's throw them all.
So Rambo's basically, he walks back out. I mean, they're all looking at him from the top of the cliff, and he's just like, "Yeah, that wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
That was on
Didn't
that
do it.
guy." Yeah.
Well, yeah, like he comes out with his hands up, and the dude's like, it looks like he's trying to surrender, and he's like, I didn't do that. I don't want to get blamed for that. Let's call this a draw. And they're like, freeze! Don't move! It's like, he's not moving. Like, don't do anything. He's like, I didn't do
Not
this.
doing it,
Yeah, and they're like, don't move. Like, I didn't do that. Don't move. Like, we get it. Like, what is happening
Now the
here?
guy has to shout that out so that when they shoot at you, they have plausible
Right.
viability.
Yeah.
They have to shout, "He's coming straight for us." And then
Because sure enough, one of his guys is just like, "Fuck it, we're shooting him."
Yeah. This is before dash cams and YouTube. They're
Yeah.
doing whatever the hell they want.
And then like everyone else is like, "Oh, he's shooting, then I'm shooting."
I don't know.
Which, in
Yeah.
fairness, that practice we still have today.
yes,
David Caruso, I assume
74
did it
bullets.
too, right?
He was coming right for us.
Yeah.
I saw him wielding that in wallet.
I think he was on those bath salts. Could've done
I didn't know what
anything.
was in that bag of Skittles.
it's all true. Like,
Yeah. Sad moment. So, he's just like, well, fuck it, I'm out. He gets kind of shot in the eye or something. What? I don't
I don't know why it covered his eye.
No, I think he was just like,
He was genuinely surprised that they opened fire at him.
yeah, I think he was just like, I need to leave. Oh, my face. You shot me right in the head and I'm still alive. Excuse me. I gotta go.
No,
over here.
I think something hit him in the head. I don't know what or how,
It
but
might have been debris from when a bullet hit the ground.
that could
Maybe.
be.
Kicked the
might have
rock
been a
In all
thought.
likelihood.
Gets one of those every
But,
once in
like-
a while.
Like this is where his gear changes.
Yeah.
He goes from like I'm on the run to now I'm hunting these motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, and this is when the sheriff, it's like, okay, one of your guys is dead now. He has beaten up your entire police department. And now you find out he's also a former Green Beret and a Congressional Medal of Honor winner.
Mhm.
This is a man I'm going to chase in the woods.
Yeah.
Well, we also
And
have
here-
this. Sorry, we also have this recurring problem I had where they're like, I don't know if they don't have walkie talkies or what the deal is. They're not getting a hold of this other dude.
They do have
And-
radios.
And this guy's like, oh, this dude's dead. And like, oh, we got to get him for that. And it's like, is anyone talking to the helicopter pilot at all?
The helicopter pilot's like, that's a wrap on mine. I'm done here.
Out.
But, like-
I'm gone.
You got to send me to jail, that's fine.
But that's the thing. Like, he just left. He didn't even bother to report in that an officer died or anything. Just like, fuck it, guys. I'll see you back at the bar.
Not my chair, not my prop.
I told him to put a seatbelt on. He didn't want to listen.
Yeah.
This is where Stallone goes from prey to predator.
Yeah. It is a prototypical Predator sort of breaks out here.
It really
sure is.
Really
And
is.
yeah, I know like the sheriff's like, all right, I got the dogs, so he can't get far, but it's like, what is your plan when you find him? He has a gun now.
Yeah. You couldn't handle him before.
Yeah.
Makes you think you can handle him now. But I guess now he's got the bloodlust because he's like, he took one of our own, even though
Yeah.
he clearly didn't. Whatever. He thinks he did, or he wants to think he did, or whatever.
And Mitch is basically like, that guy's blood is kind of on your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Sheriff freaks out. And he's just like, he knocks Mitch's hat off. He's making him
He
look at
beats him
Galt's
like the
dead
redheaded
body.
stepchild that he is.
I mean, proper ginger treatment, but
He literally rubs his nose in it.
Yeah.
Just see that? That's one of ours.
this is why I think of your morals.
Yeah. But yeah, so they go chasing after him, but he's set up these Home Alone / Predator style traps.
Alone.
Whatever you want to call them.
Well,
That'd be a
in fairness,
totally
in
different
the Home
Death
Alone
Wish
episode,
3?
we did say, like, I want to see a variant of this where, I forget if it was Kevin or the Criminals was played by Rambo. But if it was Harry and Marv going after Rambo, that would not go so well.
No.
I just remember being impressed with how fast he could build all that stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
So, yeah. Basically, they finally get down the cliff. Now, in fairness, though, he did have a while for them to get down that cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then,
Well, they went back for the dogs and everything,
Yeah.
right? So
that, and they had to get the dogs down the cliff and all that. So now,
Do you
They-
think they just
threw them off one at a time, and one guy was down at the bottom catching them.
Yeah.
That's exactly how they did that. Because I want to catch a Doberman pinscher. Tossed off 100-foot cliff.
All right, now don't let him wiggle. He's going to be real scared now.
Don't mind a little urine. It's bound to happen.
Don't worry about what you do with your arms. He's just going to bite right onto your head.
Just hold him away from your face.
Keep him away from her face and your genitals. You'll be fine.
And I love this because they're tracking him down, and like this crazy guy with the dogs. I think his name's Orville. He's like, "All right, we got him. He's right near." And they see a jacket, and they're like, "Oh, that must be him!" And this like scarecrow looking thing over here.
I am the Dread Pirate Robber.
Because he's obviously just gonna stand there.
Yeah. I've done such a good job running
Yeah.
till now. I think I'll just stand here and wait.
Rambo's like, "I got 3 bullets." He's like, "All right, well, fuck these 2 dogs and the guy that can handle the dogs."
Oh, these poor dogs.
So the sheriff, though, he's pretty smart. He's like, "All right, well, he's out of ammo now." No. He sends the other dog anyway. He's like, "Well, we got another dog. We might as well send that to die too."
Yeah. It's
So-
just it's expendable.
Yeah. And then you hear a very sad doggy getting beaten up noise.
One off to join the expense.
Yeah. So then the sheriff's like, "Well, he would have just shot the dog, so he's got to be out of ammo now." I'd be like, "Motherfucker, that was kind of our last advantage over this dude."
Yeah.
'Cause, like, now that, we can't track him, he's like, we should just go home.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of understand this, but the idea of, he's clearly out of ammo. He's still killing things.
Yeah.
He's still a threat. So let's
Yeah.
not forget that.
I mean, are you confident that you will kill him before he takes one of your guns?
Which, spoiler alert, you will not. But yeah, so they continue to track him down, and it just goes poorly.
This is like all the things that they tried to do to the Predator actually working.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the Predator is not an elite killing monster. It's some dumb rednecks.
So, like, they decide to stand 50 feet apart from each other, just so, they're kind of hidden from each other by the bushes,
Yeah.
and then just walk forward. It's a great plan. Just walk forward.
Let's split up. We can do more damage that way.
Rambo's like, "I like you, David Caruso. I'm just going to put a knife in your ass."
Like, I thought he put it in his butthole at first. Like,
For a hot second, I thought he
Yeah.
did too.
but no, it was the back of his leg.
Yeah.
Good thigh shot, just enough to take him down, so he's not doing anything.
Yep.
Except for making the most noise anyone has ever made.
Oh, yes.
In fairness, if that happened to me,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, I get it. Like I'm not.
I would be
I'm
yelling.
bleeding.
I would be yelling right at that chief. I would just be like, "You motherfucker! Look, I told you this would happen. Look what
I
happened
told
to
you
me."
so.
Yeah.
But if I was in the woods, I would have just had my hands up, like, all right.
Yeah. Be like, "Look, they're telling me to walk
Yeah,
forward. I
Green
don't
Beret
want to do
dude.
anything."
I don't have a gun.
Yeah. I'm looking straight down at the
Hands up,
ground.
yep.
You do what you got to do.
Don't remember what you look like. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm leaving my Subway club card here. It's full.
Yeah.
Here's my lunch.
I heard you wanted something to eat.
There's a
$5,
coupon for a free drink at a Cumberland Farms
And-
of your choice.
$5 off Baskin Robbins if you're looking for something after.
So now David Caruso basically gets off the best of any of these guys.
He sure does.
He doesn't kill any of them, but none of them are,
Fucks their days up.
none of them are really going to be the same after this.
No. So
Actually, I guess the guy who gets off the best is the one that had his nose broken because he's back at the car.
yeah, that's true. So like he's just like jumping off of trees onto
Yeah, he
these
does
guys.
like a lucha libre cross body onto that
he
one
legit.
dude.
So he legit just strings one guy up to a tree,
Yep.
stands in front of him until was it the chief?
Yeah.
No, it was someone else. I think.
some-
No. At that point, it was the chief because he was the last dude. Like one guy gets that whatever the spiked branch.
Oh, I haven't
Yeah.
got
No,
there
no,
yet.
no, not there.
Yeah, it's not the chief. It's
Uh,
the other.
Yeah, the second guy he gets at, he ties him up. He stands in front of him. The big fat guy shoots at
Yeah.
Rambo.
Shoots his
Rambo
own
moves, but shoots the other guy.
He
He's like,
just-
I got him! I got him!
Oh,
And chases him, and then he gets the shit in
dude. Yeah,
the
and
legs.
the
But
team killer gets the stick in the legs.
Yeah.
But it's not even like stupid like bullet dodge. He's like, I know how long it's going to take you to raise that gun and fire at me. I'm just going to step out of the way, and you're just going to keep shooting because you're stupid.
And it sucks for that dude so bad. He's just standing there like everything below my waist is a disaster. Right now.
This dude's walking.
Yeah.
Wow.
You see my downstairs mix up?
Yeah, he is giving him a downstairs mix up.
It really is. He turned his Audi into an innie. So he's walking along, and this friggin' branch with all these spikes comes out right in the nerds, man. And I'm pretty sure that dude just says, "Kill me" at some point.
I think so. I wasn't sure if it was more a kill me or help me, but
No, it was a kill me.
it's probably a kill me.
I know which one I would be saying.
Well, that's the help he wanted. He's like, help me,
Yes.
kill me.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Like if Malcolm Reynolds were here, he would have just shot that guy from across the woods. He'd just be like, I did him a favor.
But it's because it's this somewhere around here where this other guy gets strung up.
We don't even see what happens. He's just tied to a tree.
Well, we kind of see what happens because the sheriff's going after him and he's behind him,
pistol whipped.
and then
Yeah.
he gets whipped in the back of the head.
Oh, I think I missed that part.
But then he's just got this rope tied around his neck, real tight, almost hanging him, but not quite. And then as the sheriff goes to help him out,
Just
Rambo's
gave him
right in front.
Give him a carradine.
Wow.
So yeah, Rambo's just like, look, all your boys are done. I have a knife to your throat. Give this up.
I could have killed all of them,
Yeah.
but I chose not to. I can still kill you right now, but I'm choosing not to.
Oh, fat check, gut check time. What do we think?
What is it?
I don't know what that is.
That's
They're just melting.
Yeah.
They're all very.
Yeah, I think
well.
it's-
I'm sure you're fine. Just stuff it in your mouth and forget about it.
It's
right.
it's probably fine.
Fat chat quote of the day. Stuff it in your mouth and forget about it.
It's chocolate.
that's fat chat life.
Yeah.
That's how you live.
White,
That's from
white stuff
Becca
on
too.
it?
Like,
It's just extra protein.
That's how she got.
Becca just earned her membership card.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But where?
well, no, you missed your Steel Tony snack. That's what she got.
yeah, that too.
she just totally took a Reese's peanut butter egg right out from
I was
Tony's
like,
hand.
he didn't say shit.
I try to keep the podcast going, but yeah, that's,
I didn't eat it until I was,
She was
sure
like-
that he had another one in
She
line.
was like-
Otherwise, I would have shared.
Here's the
all
thing.
your snacks are done.
Here's the thing. I
I
don't
could have killed
understand.
them. I could have killed them all.
There's
Just
still
let it go.
There's still 2 peanut butter sandwiches in there.
Well, I already had one of them. I'm working.
It's
my
because
way.
it's not within arm's reach of me. That's why they still exist. What is this?
Oh, I see. You also snuck a Nestle
Yeah, you
Crunch
put that
egg
right in my
there.
hand. That's fine. I'll take
All
that.
I was just
Take
under
that
the
off her
assumption
hands.
that
You basic bitch.
all snacks I have for the rest of this podcast would have to be run by Becca to see how desirable they are first.
Can I keep this, or
Yeah.
are you going to take it?
Was that? Oh, that doesn't look good. You keep it.
All right.
So,
But wait! I just want to quickly. Let's not forget. He also says, "In the city, you are the law. In the jungle, I am the law." Just wanted to throw that in.
are you finished?
Yeah.
Are you done?
You know who's not done? The sheriff.
I'm not.
No.
Well, even though he has a good crying fit, which is a perfectly justifiable response. What just happened to
I
him?
honestly thought that this would be the end. The sheriff would leave. Stallone would go out into the woods, and that's how Bigfoot was born.
Or you would think this would also be like the point where, higher authorities get involved and the sheriff's just like, you know what, guys, we shouldn't keep doing this shit. But they go anyway because they're stubborn and stupid and they need to learn on their own. But no.
I mean, that happens, but he's the one.
Well, yeah, but yeah, it's because the sheriff is like, fuck that. I'm getting this guy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill that motherfucker.
No vagrants in my town.
He's a weirdly he's a man of principle. He's like, this guy has to be brought to justice, even though I have made him a problem.
Yeah. This guy has to be brought to justice for the crimes he did not commit.
Yeah.
And I find it very interesting. Not only do we have all these piddly little cops trying to deal with something that they know for a fact is out of their level, we've got this random hunting party with children.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
They know that not only is there just something happening, that one kid had a very visceral interaction with Rambo, and it looks like they decide to continue to go check out what the heck is going on with this whole thing. I'm like,
This hunting party, like,
Mm-hmm.
who are they and why were they there?
I think they were just hunting in the woods.
Yeah.
But they said in a scene prior to this, we have all exits covered. Why would you let a hunting party just go wandering off?
Maybe
Yeah.
they were already
Also,
Exits,
like,
not entrances.
bushwhacking for
Yeah.
no reason.
the newscaster,
Oh my
he's
God.
reporting the wrong news, but he flat out
Fake
said
news,
Rambo
if
has
you
killed, at least one cop.
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, I'm gonna bring my son to that.
Yeah, there are.
Hashtag
That's the thing.
alternative
There are now
Yeah.
there are authorities all over these woods looking for this dude. You would think one of them would either say like, "Hey, hunting party, you need to go home," or someone invited this hunting party to go looking for Rambo with like a 12-year-old.
Mhm.
Like either way, this is ridiculous. But yeah, that kid almost dies.
So sheriff's like, all right, I could just be like, all right, National Guard, that's your problem now. And you would think somebody would have stepped in and been like, yeah, that didn't go so well. What you just tried, you just got your whole department pretty much, unable to do their jobs now. So your town doesn't have law enforcement right now.
You know how most of you can't use your legs now?
Yeah.
Do you want to leave it there, or do you want to keep going?
I mean, he literally tore one of your guys a new asshole. Possibly two of them, depending on how that stick went.
This is when they contact Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
He brings in Dutch and his team.
Mhm. That would be an interesting movie.
That would be amazing. Is this okay?
No,
Can I eat that?
permissible for you to have
Okay.
that.
So that should be a diet plan now. Becca just follows you around.
I would be in much
Snatches
better
snacks out of
shape.
your
I'm
hand.
sure I would be in much better shape.
Just letting him have fudge rounds. That's not a good diet plan.
Well, no, but
Well, it's more just the fact that I didn't want that.
Yeah.
So he's allowed to have
in this
it.
case,
I shared one on Facebook the other day. It's the dude who plays Bull to Tony.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Just chasing you around.
I saw that.
Beat you up so you lose weight.
Is he the juggernaut bitch?
They just stick a football hooligan on you. And that guy took 6 bullets in one sitting. Anyway,
big
so
motivator.
they call out the National Guard, and this movie is not very kind to the National Guard in its portrayal.
Yeah,
It's not terribly kind to anybody. I'm trying to figure out, I don't know anything about the people who wrote it or who filmed it or produced it. So I don't know any motives that they have in their personal life. And I'm like, are they trying to mock law enforcement more? Are they trying to mock the National Guard? Like, who?
They like the army.
They do like the army,
The colonel
clearly.
gets portrayed well.
we're kind of
That's it.
doing the, we're gonna one up each other, but in different way. It felt like someone else was doing this scene entirely.
Yeah.
Like, where does the colonel keep his army? In his sleeveys?
Sleeveys.
That's this army. They're this National Guard or whatever. Because they were seriously, like, they were a comedy
Becca
troupe.
knew it.
Why would Becca not?
Yeah, right. I was counting on her knowing that. This was like a comedy troupe named after that joke.
Yeah.
All right, that's what this was.
Yeah, they treat the National Guard in a very comic, doofy F troop
Weekend
kind of
warriors.
sense, and then the cops are just these horrible things. They are just a blight upon humanity.
Well, yeah, the cops are just terrible, but the National Guard here is just like someone got a stand-up troupe or an improv troupe in the local town and was just like, how would you guys like to be in this movie?
What's interesting, though, is before the Gulf War, I mean, a lot of people thought of the National Guard like that. Between the Gulf War and their responses to several serious weather events, earned the National Guard a lot of cred. But before then, people really did just kind of think of them as, weekend warrior fill-in troops that
2
aren't worth
weekends a
anything.
month.
Yeah. I mean, in reality, they're better trained than most military in the world.
I know a few and they're badass.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This National Guard, though,
Shout
in this
out to
movie,
Angel.
not badass.
No.
This does not go well.
I feel like this was probably, and I don't know, I'm just saying, but it feels like it was written by a Vietnam vet who was really, salty after being treated like dirt when he got back from the war.
Mhm.
And, he sees the National Guard as, oh, well, they weren't there. They
Yeah.
don't know. And these cops, they suck because they weren't doing anything to
Mhm.
help. And
Well, and when they came back, from Vietnam, nobody wanted them. Nobody cared about what they did there.
But that's the thing. I feel like most of the movie is that, it's him dealing with the cops, and it is very much how, a vet might have viewed, all of society kind of shitting on them or whatever. But these guys were straight out of Weekend at Bernie's. They were just something else entirely, and it's ridiculous.
So Colonel Troutman shows up. And I'm going to sum up the conversation he has with the sheriff where he's like, how big do you think Rambo's dick is? And the sheriff is like that, and he's like, no, stretch your hands out further. Further.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Tell you what, you hold one hand out. Hey,
Yeah.
you over there. Stay over there. Hold one hand.
I'll tell you when to stop.
Oh, so big.
Yeah. So
I'm now picturing
Yeah.
like the 5 cops standing line to line with their arms stretched.
You guys got a fire hose around here?
They do.
yes, they do.
Yeah.
Oh,
when you
Rambo's
hose-
very familiar with that fire.
when you hosed Rambo down, you're just lucky he didn't hose you back.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, the Colonel Troutman's like Rambo's hype man here. He's like, look, this motherfucker is so badass. Like, you're done. You're just done. Just give up. They're like, we trained him on everything. He eats things that would cause goats to puke.
If you had actually taken him in that Waffle House, he would have eaten it and been fine.
Yeah, he would have ate the whole Waffle House.
But like,
He
I
don't
feel
even
like
care.
like this whole bit, like he's doing the scene he's doing, makes the end like that much more like heavier because it's like, you know, you so badass, all the shit. Like
Yeah.
at the end is the end. And it's like, oh, maybe we should have done other things too.
Yeah. All right, you're still
Should have thrown the
human.
ball around. a little bit.
Yeah.
Nobody has the line, I didn't come here to save him from you. I came here to save you from him.
Mhm. Yeah, he's like,
badass.
this guy, he goes to Waffle House, he goes in the bathroom, he leaves the stall unlocked.
Yep.
He doesn't care.
He when they ask him what he wants, he just says, "Surprise me."
He licks the plate clean and comes out disease free.
Yeah. So, yeah, Troutman is like, look, you guys, this is not going to go well for you. He has a bunch of cool lines in here, though.
Yeah, I don't even remember half of it, but the idea is that Rambo is badass and should not be fucked with.
So, Sheriff, for a second, you're like, I think his heart might have grown like one size because he's like, all right, well, why don't we let you try to talk him down? In reality, though, the sheriff's like, why don't we let you talk to him so we could find out where he is and sick everybody on him?
And they do. Like
And it's funny because the colonel's like, how about this? How about you just intentionally leave a little gap in your line that he could slip through? He's gonna show up somewhere and we'll arrest him, you know, when he calmed down and doesn't think he's in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Yeah. He stops having flashbacks and thinking he needs to hunt you
You know,
down.
maybe I could find and talk to him somewhere.
When he
you know?
resets his murder clock.
Yeah. I could, when the bloodlust subsides. And Sheriff's like, you can't do that.
Yeah, once he starts seeing colors other than red again, we can maybe have a little chat.
Yeah.
Once his erection dies down.
Yeah. Sheriff's basically like, what are you, a hippie? Like, he's.
Some kind of queer.
Yeah. It's like, we got to get at least 5 more people killed by this guy.
But here's the thing.
I got tons of men to throw at
Nobody's
him.
actually been killed. Like,
Well, Galt
Nobody.
killed himself.
well, I mean,
Yes.
nobody's been killed by John Rambo,
Yeah.
I should say. His body count is 0 at this
Yep.
point.
But like the colonel's like, he's trying real hard not to kill you guys, but you know, if you keep cornering him,
Yeah.
he's a survivor through and through. He's gonna do what he has to do. That was a nice rhyme that I didn't even plan.
Even if that means going through.
Ooh, next level.
Ooh.
I feel like that should be like a 3 Doors Down song, somewhere, like just some rampant butt metal.
Well, you are a loser. So,
What?
That's a Beck song.
well, it's
Oh wait, no, there
That's
is.
not-
Yeah,
yeah,
there is a
that's
3 Doors,
Three Doors
Down,
Down
song.
song,
Yep,
too.
I forgot about that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's probably for the best.
yeah. And Brian wins this particular contest. But so yeah, let's get to our comedy troupe here.
Hold on, we get a random interlude while the colonel's talking of just Rambo just jumps out of a tree with a fucking spear and just murders a
All right.
boar.
Kills a pig.
Well, yeah, he's getting food.
Yep.
You gotta eat. Man's gotta eat.
Which made me think I wanted to splice that into the scene in Jurassic World where like they let the pig into the corral and like the guy falls in the cage. You just see Rambo come out with the spear and Chris Pratt's gotta like stare him down.
Or the scene from Predator where Bill Duke just jumps in and starts stabbing the
just
shit
stabbing
out of
the pig.
I would also like it if it was just Rambo jumping in after the pig, and you see the raptors show up, and then it just cuts to him walking out with that chunk of meat over his shoulder. Like, raptors, good eating.
So,
Anyway.
yeah, Rambo, he goes to his mine. He's got his little cave. He's got like a pretty tight living situation going in
Yeah.
there.
He's like, I can live here
This could
forever
be
now.
my home.
Yeah.
That's when the colonel calls him over the radio, and he finally gets him to call in, and he's like, "Look, man, you don't really have a chance here. Why don't you turn yourself in?" He's like, "They drew first blood.
That asshole fuck with me first.
They started it.
Just want something to eat."
Arrest me, I was walking down the street,
Yeah.
something to eat, trying to touch little kids.
I would have even taken Arby's at that point. But I was just hungry, man. You know.
Some potato wedges.
Potato wedges.
I asked him for dinosaur-shaped nuggets. He said no.
You're asking for trouble. He was like,
Called me a name.
picture little kid Sylvester Stallone.
We didn't even have to go to Carl's Jr. Just to the dumpster behind Carl's Jr.
We could have gone through the drive-thru.
Just the dumpster behind there. I'll go digging through. I'll find something.
I'm a hunter.
I could eat the wrapper.
Maybe stew.
I said it's open late. We can go.
It's like some kid trying to avoid his bedtime.
You still got some meat on the bone there. Throw in some water, you get a good stew.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, just put it in a puddle, drink that."
I was like, you don't even have to get me a dipping sauce, even though I know that there's no extra charge for dipping sauce.
So like,
What a happy
now
taken Roy Rogers.
the C Squad is chasing him now.
Yeah.
So yeah, now the sheriff's like, "Okay, don't do anything. just make sure he stays.
Shoot
in
him!
line."
You got it!
Yeah. All right, open fire. Perfect.
Like, so they have him cornered at this in this mine or whatever. They start shooting at him. He shoots back. Then all of a sudden they're like, he might kill us. We don't.
He's way better at this than we are.
Way better.
Oh,
Like-
imagine this.
So these guys are firing at basically at nothing. And Rambo just pops out behind the corner and sets off a perfect line of squibs across a log in front of these guys. Somehow.
Twice.
And they're like, "All right, we're done. All of us are done."
Well, no. All except their leader, who's just like, you assholes, get up there and shoot him. Why isn't somebody shooting? And they're like, dude, he's gonna kill us. And it's like, we got a rocket launcher. Just go.
Why do they have a rocket launcher?
Well, he goes to one of his guys and he's like, "All right, just why don't you, we'll cover you, go in the mine." And he's like, "No."
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a point where in like a actual military, well, National Guard is actual military, but like that's when the officer would point his pistol at you and be like, "I will kill you. Go in there."
You do it.
Although-
or you are in trouble.
This movie, probably desperately needed some levity, so I guess that's the closest you're gonna get right now. So
This scene is
I
pretty
guess.
funny till they bring up the rocket launcher.
Like, why do they have a rocket launcher?
Well, I mean, in that era,
Because
it's
they can.
it's common to carry that's called a law. It's a light anti-vehicle weapon. It's basically just like a high explosive rocket that you fire once, and it actually deforms the rocket launcher, so you can't use it again. It's just basically a metal tube with a rocket in it, but it's designed to give you like a grenade at a distance kind of deal, and you can use it to destroy like a light armored vehicle or a truck or something.
or
So
a bunker,
and
that
they're
a
real-
weird,
yeah.
crazy hobos, live
and they're
in.
really light, so like you can carry one around with it's just the weight of the rocket.
So they gave it to Kurt Van Houten here?
Yeah, why the National Guard has it, I don't really know. Because they're dressed to fight a war here when it's like you're hunting one guy down.
That's what I'm saying. One person.
But,
So anyway,
yeah. But we got it, so we're going to use it.
Mhm.
I was like, just use a rocket launcher once I get out of the way.
yeah. At least the guy checked that nobody was standing behind him, unlike the True Lies guys.
Yeah.
And no pelican showed up to fuck it up.
So yeah, they take down the entrance of this mine. Everybody assumes that's the death of Rambo.
Classic bad guy move. They're like, he's got to be dead from
Yeah.
that.
So we're gonna go on our way, except the Colonel, right? It's Colonel
Well, yeah, the colonel and the sheriff show
Uncle
up.
Sam, whoever that is.
Yeah, Troutman and Teasel show up.
Troutman.
That sounds like that should be an awesome like folk band.
Troutman and Teasel.
like just a terrible attorney's office.
Yeah.
Better call Troutman and Teasel. Teasel.
So-
But yeah, they show up and they're like, they're kind of like, oh, it's a shame he died or whatever. But Troutman's like, I see that smoke. I know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Well, like the part that I wish came back around later is the sheriff. He starts going in on Troutman. He's like, "See that? Your motherfucker's dead. You talked all this shit about the guy, and he's dead. Your training wasn't shit. Everything you said about the guy is false, motherfucker. We got him. I got him, motherfucker." Like,
Yeah.
He went off on the dude, right?
My town's safe because of me.
I was like, your guy, you think he's so cool, you think he can take all of us? Yeah, it only took one rocket, and he went down like a chump. Like, yeah, what's a rocket?
Yeah, well,
What?
It's like,
So does everybody else.
Yeah, it exploded a large area. Yes,
Yeah, your house would go down like a chump if
Yeah.
you shot it with that.
so fast forward, Rambo ain't dead. He's further back in the cave.
Yeah, it's like, looks like I'll play some Pitfall now.
Minecraft.
Yeah.
You just like use my sweet poncho here. Sorry, sweet homo poncho. Gonna light some of you on fire and get you out of here.
That would have been funny if he started punching the log.
Yeah. I love how he's going through like lamps and he's like, this lamp doesn't have oil in it. Smash! I'm like, what if the next thing you found was the jug of oil?
Which it was.
Which
Would've felt
was,
like
yeah,
an
he
asshole.
did.
Yeah, you did to me. You did to me, lamp. You had your chance.
You got my hopes up and you dashed. I'm gonna smash you with this rock.
The guardsmen are posing like it's fucking Iwo Jima over here. Yeah.
This this group family photo.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And this mine has this weird, like, level kind of feel to it, because there's a room that's just full of rats,
Yeah.
and then there's not rats anymore. So it's
Yeah.
just like, is that like the rat level?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the rat room.
And they're attacking Sylvester Stallone. Like, he's this big, scary man on fire. Like clearly, that's what we need to eat. Like,
They were real rats too. Like
Yeah.
he threw real rats around in the scene. I bet he killed some.
Yeah, a lot of animal death here. That's not so good.
so then we see like Troutman's like, I'm just gonna go chill in the bar. The sheriff comes up and talks to him.
Yeah, again, this carnival strip club TGI Fridays. What is?
I don't know. This town doesn't have a lot of buildings. They got to multi-purpose them.
Sure.
So he comes by and he's like, yeah, I might have kind of overreacted a little bit. I just really wanted to kill that guy.
Like actual line.
Yeah.
You don't understand the bloodlust I had for
Yeah.
seemingly no reason. I just.
So you see, like the sheriff has a heart. It's just like nothing's wired to it. Like whatever circuits would go there are totally bypassed.
I am a really good sheriff when I'm
Yeah.
not just blinded by rage.
Yeah, and he's like, you know what? No, never mind. Fuck you. Like, my dick's bigger than his now because he ain't shit. He's dead. And like just leaves.
Yeah.
And Troutman's like, oh, this is not going to go well for you.
Wait till you find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Rambo climbs his way through like 5 different levels of this cave dwelling adventure. Finds this shaft up, whatever. Yeah, this ladder, gets himself out. Attacks a dude and gets on his truck. And he commandeers a vehicle.
He just gets in. Like, you feel for this poor guardsman driving the truck.
Yeah, he was just like, yo, I'm just here because I have to be. Like,
Don't
Well,
look
like-
at me, look at the road.
He jumps on the truck, and right away I'm just like, I'm sure you didn't hear that at all. Like, giant Stallone falling on the roof of your canvas truck. Sure.
He was like, please don't let that be a giant Stallone falling on the roof of the truck.
I really hope there's an avalanche starting.
I hope that's a meteor.
what was the Sasquatch?
Oh, don't you worry, it's pretty meteor. All right. Yeah, that's terrible. All right, but he gets in the cab.
Don't worry, there's a hole in the poncho.
But yeah, it's like, I'm taking the truck. You just get out here. It's like, I don't want to die. Like, yeah, that's why you're getting out here.
By the way, what's in the back? M60. Oh, thanks. Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's just the present I wanted. Thank you very much.
And then, yeah, the guy goes up the road, and really Rambo should have waited a little while before he kicked him out of the truck, because the guy basically just ran like 50 yards and told everybody back at base what was
Yeah,
going
I don't
on.
know what he thought was going to happen here. Like, that's
Exactly
obviously...
what he wanted. He wanted a war at
Yeah.
that point. Like, he
Or
was
Rambo,
like,
he just didn't
maybe.
give a damn. So like this cop's like, I'm gonna go pull over this deuce and a half. Rambo's like, are you?
Well, first of all, we get a weird cut here because the sheriff is back at his station, which,
Yeah.
by the way, his desk. We can talk about
His
that.
desk is pretty awful.
Yeah, tacky. Oh my, to the.
There's a bobcat face stretched out over the front of this desk.
I hate to keep making this comparison, but Ron Swanson would have been like, sir, that's a bit much.
It looked like he drove his car like screaming down the highway, hit a bobcat at full speed, and then just put the grill on the front of his desk. I can only assume it's there to intimidate people sitting on the other side.
And I believe he had his pens in an artillery shell.
Yes. But we get this weird cut where they're like, Sheriff, Rambo's still alive. We're getting reports. Rambo's still alive. And then it cuts to this police car chasing after him. And I was like, is that him? Did he get there already? Like, how did it? But it's clearly not.
Yeah.
So it's just weirdly edited for that.
So, basically Rambo's like trying to have a chase with this cop for a second. He's like, man, I'm like 3 times the size of you. It's like, you want to try to bump into me? I'll bump into you. We'll see who wins this.
Yeah.
Take that.
The cops are like trying to shoot him. And I'm like you could even shoot those handguns at the tires. I don't think it's going to do anything.
Probably not.
And he's just like keeps bumping into the cop car until he sees a car parked on the side of the road.
Yeah, it's not even he wins because he's a much bigger vehicle. It's because they found like the burning car from Planes, Trains, and Automobile, and they just kind of pushed him into that.
Someone died here because this
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
thing blows up.
This explodes.
Car like rolls into the back of this other one. And then they both just explode in a fireball.
And it's movie antics like that had me convinced as a kid until maybe, I don't know, a couple years ago that cars are just ready to explode
Yeah.
if you look at them wrong.
Like you fuck up your parallel parking.
I was just thinking, like, it's kind of amazing that any of us like still drive because, like, you would think raised in the '80s we'd be so afraid to get into an accident in a car.
Because we were more afraid of quicksand. That's why.
I mean,
If you drive, you're safe.
this is like maybe two to 3 levels removed from the Pinto scene in Top Secret.
Yeah.
Where he just
forgot about that movie.
Yeah, where he just dings the rear end of a Pinto and the whole fucking thing explodes.
In all fairness, they were.
They were
close.
pretty bad.
The thing is, like, it wasn't even the police car that exploded.
Yeah.
It was the stationary car that was hit from the back.
It was like one of those crazy survivalists that was just like, I just bought a gas station full of gasoline. I'm going to drive it home in my Chevette.
It's one of those Simpson cars that are made out of dynamite. I mean, just that little leaf. Bing.
It's like, I ran out of my gas can, so I had to fill the rest with water balloons. And I put them next to my nitroglycerin.
Yeah.
So you know how like in a
Water
video
balloons
game
and
when you're
gas.
trying to do like I'm not going to kill anything. I'm going to do a sort of pacifist kind of run. And then that you mess up on that first guy.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, well,
You might as well.
that's over.
Gotta kill everything now.
Because Rambo's just like you were feeling for him. And now you're like, okay, this guy's, he's still in Vietnam. So he's like, oh, is this your roadblock? Yeah. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Smash through all that.
Well, I already got 2 stars in Grand Theft Auto, so let's go for 5. Like, whatever.
Like his whole focus now, he's like, I'm coming for that sheriff.
Yeah.
Like, that's all on his mind now. He's like, I told you to leave me the fuck alone. And you wouldn't listen to me. Now it's your ass. Like,
Yeah, he's like, all right, it's a gas station. We'll just go over there, get this M60. Just
Why not?
runs over all the gas pumps, which I'm surprised those didn't explode right away.
Joe, can you fire that one arm like that?
If you're like Stallone's size, you can, yeah.
Wow.
Like, it's meant to be like a support weapon mounted on a vehicle, but you can pick it up and use it in one arm.
Isn't that the same one he had in Commando?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the one that the guy who plays Jane Cobb had in Full Metal Jacket. Like, if you're their size, you can do that. I think there's some other way to, like, I think putting it on, like, hip firing it, like, on your leg or something that can support it, the recoil or something. There's ways for smaller guys to do it, but it's meant to be fired from a tripod or a really big man.
But yeah, so he drives to this gas station. He lights everything on fire. And at first I'm like, oh, again, this is kind of more realistic because we see the gas pumps are like leaking and they're just firing out like a flamethrower. And that's more accurate to how it would go. But then like the cars just start exploding one after another. Like,
Is it just from the heat or like
It's like an entire like Rambo movies full of explosions they just put in this one scene.
Yeah.
But again, these cars are just made out of dynamite. Like the back of that car just keeps exploding.
Yeah, because I was on board when the gas station blew up. I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. I'm like, why are things still blowing up?
So what it was like, this was the scene that they were like, every movie, this.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I could almost guarantee they probably had a focus group afterward and they were like, what's your favorite part? Like, explosions.
Yeah.
All right.
Just because, after 5 minutes of it blowing up, that's all you remember that happened.
Yeah. Did you like it when he lit the fire with the gun? That's cool, but a bow and arrow would have been awesome. Like, all right.
Can the bow and arrow explode?
Note for Rambo 2. Done.
why was he in the woods but not riding horse? What's that?
Could he kill more? Cut out the feely shit and kill more. Done and done.
So he should join the Taliban.
And burn his wounds closed.
So, like, the fire department basically calls the police, and they're like, why are things still blowing up? Like, the rest of the cops are going over there, and Troutman's like, I'm going to get this guy. I'm not Troutman. Sheriff Teasel's like, I'm going to get this guy. Troutman's like, dude. Like, it's just you now.
We talked about this.
What are you going to do?
I want to rub it in your face how you told all the shit to me before, saying how he was dead and you got him. But I'm going to wait because he's going to kill your ass in a minute.
Yeah.
So you earned this ass whooping.
Yeah, he's like, I don't really think I'm going to be able to stop him when he gets here. So I shouldn't be here.
So Brian had a question about PA systems that he wanted me to write down to remind him of.
Oh, yeah. So at this point, the sheriff goes into his office, pulls out his PA mic, and all of a sudden the whole town hears his voice. And he's like, get into your houses.
The purge has commenced.
Yeah, like, get in your houses. Like, is that real? Do towns have PA systems?
Some do. Like near nuclear power plants, you do.
Really?
Because I know around Millstone in New London and stuff, there's like huge speaker towers. I've never heard them go off, but supposedly they can.
But are they speaker towers or are they just like klaxon alarm towers? Because we have like towers here that just warn about, like, because they went off the other day. They warned about, flood potential stuff. But I'm pretty sure they broadcast instructions. Okay, so there's probably just a hookup at the.
Yeah, because we were talking about that earlier when this came up, and it was mentioned the flooding thing. And it mentioned, imminent flood, which means they must have a replaceable track at least, which means you do have some kind of way of getting into it, I guess.
Or, I guess it makes sense. This guy is kind of a controlled douche, so maybe he's like,
well, it seems like a small town since he knew half the people and how much they bathed.
I mean, he's got a Meatloaf level lung capacity. He could have just yelled.
Like, Gary, I see you exposing yourself to kids over there behind this.
I see that hole in your poncho.
Yeah, McDonald's plate, please.
Behind the Dairy Queen.
Cut it out.
So he does this where anyone does, on the roof.
Yeah. Well, his plan's somewhat sound. He's like, guys gotta come in. I'll be up here looking through the skylight.
Yep.
I keep forgetting that Rambo's a Green Beret and, we'll probably realize this.
Yeah, so he shoots the two major transformers, which happen to be on the same block. So that's good luck. And then he goes.
It's a small town.
Yeah, he goes into this Stu Leonard's of Army Supplies.
Okay.
It's a redneck depot.
Yeah. It just sets off a big fire, exploding everything.
Well, he was making it look like he was going on a machine gun rampage over there.
Yeah.
He was going on an arson/demolition rampage.
He's doing a good job of just maybe I'm over here, maybe I'm over here, maybe I'm over, and like to kind of, I guess, flush him out a bit to see which part of the roof he's on.
The thing is, like, even though the lights are out, he's still dragging this M60 around. So it's like, I can't see you, but you're like a cat with a bell on. You're like, ching, ching, ching.
Yeah, there was one point where he's just like, I'm going to stealthily go over here.
Instead of being quiet, I'm just going to make all the noise.
Yeah.
You got 60 pounds of bullets hanging around. You're like,
Yeah, long story short, he shoots up the police station. He shoots up a bunch of stuff. He's like, fuck your town. He's like, is this what you were worried about when you tried to make me walk 30 miles to the next?
I just wanted something to eat.
Yeah.
I just want to know where there was a local Taco Bell. Right? Get some happy hour and cheap burritos.
What they say about self-fulfilling prophecies,
Potato grill is good deal for a $1.
Now you ain't got no restaurants.
Yeah. You only had one, and I killed it. Yeah. So now the sheriff's still, it's like, I don't know if you ever hung out near chickens, but like the rooster, when he sees you, he's like, shit, I gotta keep the hen safe. And he comes up to you like he gets all big and that, but he's scared shitless because you're like 20 times his size.
Yeah.
But he's still like, well, I gotta do it. That's the sheriff right now because he's like, I'm fucked. I'm done.
And Randall's just like me. He's like, I'm wearing steel toe boots right now, but
He's like, is that your dick wrapped around your arm? Is that
is that the ammo belt or your?
Are we doing this again?
Like, what?
Are you part elephant?
Wow. All right.
In the trunk?
Is that a gooey duck?
So
Under
anyway,
your poncho?
so
Did you steal our fire hose? No.
Rambo's like he humors the sheriff for a little while and runs around in the police station so the sheriff can get some shots off, and then he's just like, fuck you, and just shoots the ceiling out from under him.
My gun is bigger than yours. It'll go through the
Here's
through
the
ceiling.
thing.
It
Here's
sure
the
is.
question I have. If the ceiling can't withstand M60, rounds, how can it withstand a Brian Dennehy?
Well, it gives up very quickly once a few holes are punctured.
I think the problem is the ceiling was like, I could withstand one or the other, but not both of them. Like, fuck you.
So, Stallone underworlds this guy.
Yeah.
He sure does.
That is a way more believable underworld
It really
scenario.
is. It's just a couple of...
The equivalent of 5 Kate Beckinsales.
Per leg.
And a much bigger gun. All right, so
Yeah, so that's pretty much the end of the sheriff here.
yeah.
He's down. And this is when
Troutman.
Yeah.
thank you, comes in and he's like, yo, like, that's cool, but like, you gotta stop now.
And this is where the movie goes in a totally different direction from how
Oh,
an
yeah.
action movie would go today.
Way different.
It's like, hey, remember all that drama from the beginning of this movie? Here it is
Yeah.
again.
And Rambo's like, I don't know what to do in my life. Everything sucks. I can't, deal with like the flashbacks. I can't hold down a job. And he like throws the gun away. And like by the end, he's just on the ground crying.
Yeah, there's a whole story about a buddy exploding.
Yeah.
And you can't get the memories of him off
Yeah.
him. And
He's just trying to put his friend back together.
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's
Like I
terrible.
said earlier.
And now-
hate spaghetti.
Bringing it back. Bringing it back.
See, you
bringing
guys
it
get
back.
it now?
But I got it then too.
You know, again,
I should have known.
occasionally I forget to think as terribly as Rob, and I miss that stuff.
I'm the nice one.
Like, what's the worst possible thing he could have meant with that? Oh, right, SpaghettiOs. Okay.
So now, if this were a modern movie, they might have this dialogue, but the sheriff would be doing something dickish during this point, like he'd be crawling for a gun or something like that.
He'd be going for a weapon, and Stallone would have to shoot him in the head
Yeah.
to end this.
Yeah, like Stallone would either shoot him in the head, or like if it was like directed by Clint Eastwood or something, like Stallone would get shot and die.
That I would have been all right with, but
Well, I feel like
actually, that almost
Well,
happened.
I believe in the novel, both Rambo and the sheriff die in this scene.
Yes,
But from what I've heard in the novel, Rambo is killing everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, I believe there were like 2 different endings where Rambo died, which totally makes sense.
Humping Lisa's dress.
Yes. Why? Just why?
what?
Good old Tommy Rambo.
No, I think one was Troutman killed him, and the other
fed
was
up with this world.
It's not far off with the accent, but the other was him giving himself up to the cops and just walking out and them opening fire because cops.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Rambo and the sheriff are the same character, but the sheriff was able to get a job to be in control, and that's why he's kind of so militant about how he handles the city. And Rambo couldn't, and like so the different. It's the same kind of idea, but like different routes.
Yeah, I believe there was also some kind of thing with that in the book where the sheriff was some kind of veteran.
Yeah, I think
or something, and he was like, there was a bit of a like part of the reason he's so against Rambo is like, you know, well, your war got all this attention and mine didn't, or something.
Like, in the movie, he says to Troutman, he's like, "Do you think he's the only one who got messed up in Vietnam?"
Mm-hmm.
Like he says the line aloud.
Some kind of deal with that, but
so either way, like the movie just it breaks down to like it just like no one wins. That's not a happy ending. This man
Stallone has a good cry.
Ton of
Once the
problems.
credits start rolling, yeah, nobody wins.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Like, and Troutman, he's like, I don't know what to do. Like literally,
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know how to have feelings right now.
Well, Troutman wasn't trained for that.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm glad that was so glaringly obvious. I thought the ending was incredibly appropriate. I don't know anything about the novel at all, but the last thing I wrote down was no one wins, and that is exactly as it should be. Like, it's looking out Troutman being like 100% clueless is kind of
yeah. I mentioned this while watching it, but I kind of felt like it was like a go tell your mother. I don't know how to handle this. Like,
Well, the movie's basically like
Feelings.
so. It's like viewers at home. There's a problem here. Told you about it, and then it just starts with this song.
yeah, we're taking him out to be arrested.
Yeah.
Which all seems fine and well until Randy Gooman was it? I don't know.
it was Dan Hill.
Dan Hill
Might as well have been Randy.
starts singing a song.
Who's Randy Goodman?
I have no idea.
I'm big,
Take Randy Newman.
yeah.
That's all we get. We're not paying for this.
We're not getting flagged.
Yeah. I don't even think that. I don't think any of that showed up.
Oh, okay. All right.
No.
So anyway, take Randy Newman, have him start singing a song, and then
Newman.
blow up a can of SpaghettiOs onto him. And just have him sing a song about how sad
Pretty
he is.
sure that's like his fetish.
Sure.
No, but like if you had Randy Newman and Garfunkel and Oates and kind of crammed them all together, you'd get Dan Hill.
It's Randy Newman. Somebody get the SpaghettiOs. And by the way, here's a long road when you're on your own. It's not a full Randy Newman day until I've had SpaghettiOs all over my mantis.
Oh man.
And there it is.
Okay.
We roll the credits.
I love SpaghettiOs
Also, like an
all
action
over
movie.
my homo poncho.
Sorry.
Are we good? All right. In true like 1982 action movie fashion, this movie had like 20 people involved with this production. Like credits are like there they are, there they go.
Yeah, and the song we're referring to is the only song in the movie. And yeah,
there's like the cat got on the keyboard a few times.
There's scores, but there's no
Yeah.
songs.
Well, the score is the same guy that did the Alien soundtrack. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is essentially it's just there's a cat on one end of the piano and you just drag the mouse across
yeah.
it and it's just
But either way, that is First Blood Part 1 Rambo
SpaghettiOs
Part
edition.
1 Spaghettio Edition. Whatever, that's First Blood from 1982. Alright, so on RottenTomatoes.com, critics give this a score of 88%. Audience gave this a score of 85%. That's their thoughts and opinions. What about your thoughts and opinions / recommendations on this, Brian?
All right, so Child Brian did not like this movie as much because there wasn't many explosions, because Child Brian likes explosions. Adult Brian likes this movie more than Child Brian because it has a few things in it that I think you know is a good story points, and the fact that he doesn't kill anyone I think is a bonus because it leaves more reason for the cops to not be as crazy as they are. It's like he's not killing you guys. Stop being so crazy. It makes you root for him a little bit more. So I'm a fan. You know, I'll say watch the movie. I think 85 is a little high. Personally, I'm probably give it more of an 80. But like, no, I enjoyed it.
All right, Rob.
No, I totally recommend this movie. It's got some really solid action scenes and some actual like weirdly deep scenes about, you know, people that actually were involved in the Vietnam War. Like, so my dad like almost never talked about his experiences there. But the few times that he did, they were like weirdly similar to the stories like that Rambo has. And so you're like it caught me off guard when he started like having real talk in the beginning and the end of the movie. Like I started getting a little choked up about it, but it's, you know, they quickly moved on to making ponchos out of garbage, so it all worked out in the end. But yeah, no, I think it's a solid action movie, and it's short enough and it goes by quickly. So yeah, I totally recommend it.
Joe,
You already know my answer.
Becca.
Joe just wants the SpaghettiOs.
I appreciated that movie quite a bit. You know, having just seen it last night for the first time, I cannot compare it to my childhood self watching it. I know my childhood self wouldn't have appreciated it much at all. I don't think I would have got it. But I'm actually really surprised I did not fall apart when he started going off at the end with his monologue about putting his friends back together. I really was like, I was watching this, I'm like, oh shit, my eyeballs are just gonna get washed out of my skull right now. They didn't. They stayed in there.
I think it's because it was Stallone doing it.
That's exactly. I was like, okay, I was actually very thankful that it probably was exactly because it was
this
Stallone.
isn't an era where people thought he really had acting chops. Like he won an Oscar.
If
for
you watch
soon
Rocky,
after this.
like
Yeah.
that's
I haven't seen Rocky either.
He has
Really?
some acting chops,
Really?
but I think there is, in this scene in particular, where he's really breaking down
Yeah.
and like he's barely saying the story. I think part of it is like, oh, he's really good at acting because he can barely get through the sentence. But at the same time, it's also because like we realize now he can barely talk.
Yeah, like I couldn't cry because my eyes were squinting so much trying to actually like hear what the hell he was saying.
So you would recommend?
I would recommend it. It's good.
I same here. The action is good, as we said, and yeah, those moments in the beginning and the end, particularly the end, like those were kind of touching. Like I think the only way I didn't like affect me more, like to keep from crying, I had to focus on what the hell was going on with Stallone's mouth. Because it was
Exactly it.
Trying to swallow his own teeth.
First I confuse him with my mouth, then I'll punch him in his own mouth.
like this lip is going to my right eye, and then this lip is going to my left cheek, and just yeah.
Although that is due to an incident when he was an infant, correct? He was born.
I don't know.
That might be.
I believe there was actually an issue when he was being delivered.
Oh, well, it's already been established I'm a heartless bastard, so whatever.
With no
But yeah,
compassion.
yes. I have no compassion. I'm a monster. No, but yeah, I was worried about this getting a little too much in the feels, but it was enough. It was good, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, recommendations for this.
You know what I really like though? This movie, it doesn't have any of the unnecessary bells and whistles. Like there's no like slow-mos and, you know, pumping butt metal and like
Not till the end.
yeah.
Well, yeah, this.
You know, it's just like it does exactly what you need it to do.
Well, I was thinking this kind of like with like when we mentioned the chase scene, I was thinking very similar to Die Hard, where it's a real person in a more realistic scenario, and like it's enough. It's enough to be actually to go back to our Jurassic World thing. It's like the dinosaurs are enough. Hell, elephants are enough to be entertaining. I don't need your super monsters all the time. Like this is enough to be entertaining and you know, keep my attention. So yeah. So this recommendation's all around for First Blood, so we're gonna recommend that. First Blood, go see it. But
The story of Sylvester Stallone's first menstruation period.
Through his homo poncho.
So the D20 fake time.
thank you, Brian.
D20 fake
that
time.
note.
It's time where we roll the die to see what we watch next for our list of 300 some odd movies.
Whose turn is it?
It's my turn.
Oh.
It was Brian's.
Roll
Let's
D20.
power him up for a second. D20 fate.
D20 fate. D20 fate. D.
Two.
That is
It's a 2. Not a 1.
wow.
It's not a one.
Not a one.
Flirting with disaster.
Oh,
Oh.
And let's see what-
it
All right.
strikes again, but skipped a week. Remember what we talked about last week?
No, I forgot all about it.
It was Alien 3. We talked about a much better movie that was very similar. It's
I-
2000's Pitch Black.
Oh, shit!
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like
Little-
Christmas present.
Little Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Yeah, little Vin Diesel. Is this his first appearance on the
Yeah.
Other than we
We
did
did
Iron
Iron
Giant.
Giant.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Right.
so I guess
his
Yeah.
first appearance, but
His first-
not his first movie with us.
That should be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I only saw this movie once, like 20 years ago, but
There you go.
I
Vin
remember
Diesel?
it being real cool.
Vin Diesel.
I like him.
And
Does a hell of a commercial for Shark Sharks.
also,
Yep.
perhaps was this brought on by a last minute talk of menstruation?
I see what you did there.
It's just a
Yeah.
thought.
That you think that did it?
It could have.
Oh,
I don't know.
goodness.
I don't know.
Wait.
The E20 is funny. It
No.
plates a pivotal part in Pitch
Okay.
Black. Yeah.
I had forgot all about that.
Yes.
I had forgot all about that.
I have not seen this movie.
Go. Let's not ruin it for Becca then. But all right. So next week we got Pitch Black. But until then, what do we have for the people, Rob?
Guys, we are so glad you chose to listen to us today. We know you have many podcasts to listen to, and we're glad you chose ours. If you enjoyed the podcast, please check out our website at 4ampodcast.podbean.com. You can find all of our episodes there, including our archived older episodes, and consider subscribing. That'd be pretty great. We have a new episode every week. If you want to keep in touch with us and spread the word about the show, you can find us on Facebook and Twitter at 4am Podcast. Of course, you can reach us by email at the4ampodcast@gmail.com.
All right. So thank you all for joining us, and a special thank you to Becca. Our
Thank you,
special
Becca.
guest.
Thanks,
You're
Becca.
welcome.
Thank you for being here. I hope,
A resident ninja.
I'm glad you enjoyed the movie, and we hope you join us again sometime. All right.
For spaghetti.
For more SpaghettiOs. So thank you all for joining us. Hope you join us next week for Pitch Black. But until then,
Deuces.
Later.
Adios.
good night, everybody.
The D20 drew first blood.
Looking for a sandwich
It's
I'm sorry, Becca.
I'm just. I'm sorry, I can't join the choir.
get that from Louisiana.
Why can't you join the choir?
Join in, they can make a weird voice and sing nonsense.
Put your lip like that and do some noises.
Wow.
Just throw out all sense of dignity and self-respect.
You're good to go.
Come
on, Becca, you
If we had that, we wouldn't have a podcast.
No, that's why it's
Deuces.
I know you're actually recording.